Well, good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to At Lafayette Live here on Monday, January 19th, 2026. I got to stop and think about this. I might have had said 2025 during last week's show. If you guys want to go check, do it after tonight's show. I may have said 26, but I don't really remember reminding myself that I needed to say it's the new year. I'm not even sure I talked about the new year, but anyway, welcome. Thanks for joining us on this cold, chilly Indiana Monday evening here on the day that we honor the life and work of Martin Luther King Jr. If you had the day, I hope you were able to spend a few moments in service to others today, and thanks so much for that if you did, and thanks so much for joining us here. A great way to wrap up our Monday as we head into a new work week. I mean, I know so many people worked today, but some were off. So welcome. Thanks for joining us. It's chilly outside. I'm not sure what it got down to, but I believe it was single digits. My solution to that is stay inside. I got home late last night, driving through some flurries and snow. It wasn't a snowstorm by any means, but I'm old, and it wasn't fun. Let me tell you, winter. I'm ready for it to be over. We're on January 19th. The tide starts turning at the end of February, right? We can call March like the official beginning of spring, or the unofficial beginning of spring. Let's see, December, January, February. I think March 22nd-ish or so, give or take a few days, is the actual ending of winter and heading into spring. But anyway, thanks for joining us here on At Lafayette Live. If you've never joined us before, my name is Jeff Gooch. I'm a realtor with the Russell Company powered by At Properties here in Lafayette. And I love helping people find and buy and sell homes here in the Greater Lafayette area. But I also love living here, and I'm a member of the community like everybody else. So every Monday we get together and I talk about cool things to do in the area, development news, market updates. We take some fun home tours. But if you've not joined us before and you'd like to get on the mailing list and get some more information, or if you've got a home that you're thinking about selling, if you watched last week and saw a little bit about what we kind of think 2026 is going to look like from a real estate and housing market standpoint, go to the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube and fill out that form, and I will get back to you to take care of all of your real estate needs here in the Greater Lafayette area. And why do I say Greater Lafayette? Well, we don't really have a great terminology around talking about ourselves, I think. I mean, there is, we're not West Central Indiana. We're most definitely not Northwest Indiana. I think Greater Lafayette is really the best descriptor of Lafayette and West Lafayette, Tippecanoe County, and then all of the counties surrounding Tippecanoe County. And I'm going to name off some of them. I'm going to leave some of them out. Fountain and White and Carroll and Benton. I'm going to stop there. I know I've left several out, but that's how I kind of think about the Greater Lafayette area. So thank you so much for joining us. If you've been here before, I love to hear in the chat where it is that you're watching from. So take a moment and drop in the chat where it is you're watching from. Are you here in the Lafayette area? I know I have several regular viewers, of course, who are, but I've also got regular viewers who watch from all over the country. I've got regular viewers down in Florida and Texas and California, basically everywhere that's warmer than here. So tell me where you're watching from and how the weather is where you're currently watching from, and maybe we'll drop in on that chat in a little while. Got a few things to do tonight. We're going to start with some fun things to do here in the Lafayette area in the winter, because as I said at the beginning, we are in winter. So if you are new to town or you're just looking for new ideas, the first segment's going to be for you. We're going to do some home tours, and tonight's home tours are going to focus on homes that are currently for sale here in Lafayette that have in-ground pools. Again, a nod towards summer and warmer weather to come. And then I'm also going to look at a market update here for the Lafayette housing and real estate market, both as it stands currently based on last month's data, and then using some long-term trends to give some ideas of where it's going to be going in the short term. So if you need to buy or sell in the next month or 2 or 3, you can do so with a little more confidence after watching this update. So let's get into it. Please, let's get into it. Otherwise, I'll sit here and say hello all day long. That's one of the hazards of being a realtor is I'm a talker. I like to talk a lot. My wife will tell you that. At the end of the show, I'm going to need a nap, though. But that's a whole other. All right. I'm going to start with 4 fun winter activities to do here in the Lafayette area. And these are cold weather activities that are meant to be done outside. So go put on your coats and your gloves and your hats, and you can go outside and have a good time doing these winter activities here in the Lafayette area. First on the list is the Riverside Skating Center over in West Lafayette. And this is over in the Tippecanoe Park area. It is a public park, if you will. It's a public facility open to the public, owned by the city of Lafayette and their Parks and Recreation Department. I'm just going to show you the website here so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. It's a pretty fun place to go. It certainly has to be cold outside. You know, if we get into one of these stretches where there are multiple days of 40, 50, 60 degrees, they start to have issues. But it's a fun place to go. It is $7 per person per session for rink time, and then $3 for skate rentals. So you don't have to have your own ice skates. So for $10, you can have time on the ice with skates. Wednesday night, they have family night. Children 16 and under get a free skate rental with a paid adult admission. Their normal hours, weather permitting, again, this is an outdoor ice rink, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So they're not open on Mondays. And then over the weekend, Friday, they have 2 sessions. They have a late afternoon session, perhaps good for kids just getting out of school, 4 to 6 p.m., and then a later evening session, probably a little more, see a few more Purdue students down there, Friday at 7 p.m. There are 3 sessions per day on Saturday and Sunday. On both days, there are sessions from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., and then again from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then on Saturday evening, the evening session is 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So if you go on a Saturday evening, you can get 3 hours of ice time. And then on Sunday evening, it's 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you enjoy ice skating, if you've never tried ice skating, actually, I recommend doing it. We get down there a few times a year. My boys enjoy ice skating, and we get down there. We've done some events down there. If you have a group, you can rent the rink and have some private sessions on specific days of the week. But that is the Riverside Skating Center down at Tippecanoe Park, and I'll show you where it is on the map. I'm going to show you where all these places are on the map just to, let's see, bring up the right window here. Here is the Wabash River Riverside Skating Center here in Tippecanoe Park. This is down here at the bottom of the hill. This is Wabash, down the Wabash Landing 9 movie theater. This is where all the construction is going on here, but real easy to get to. If you're a Purdue student, you can just hop right down the hill, and if you live in Lafayette, it's just directly across the river. You can get to it up and down River Road. You can get up and down to it on 9th Street. Nice central location. So go check out the Riverside Skating Center. And that's winter activity number 1 that I thought would be fun to talk about tonight. Number 2 is Murdoch Park. Now, if you've lived in Indiana, if you've lived anywhere with snow, going out and going tubing in the snow is a lot of fun. However, if there's not a lot of snow on the ground, then going sledding or tubing is not so much fun. And this is where Murdoch Park comes in handy. Murdoch Park, which is just off of 18th Street between South and Union in Lafayette, is a Lafayette park run by the Lafayette Parks Department, and they make their own snow. So like a lot of ski resorts, they have a snow gun so that you can go out there, and make snow. So as long as they have 3 consecutive days of temperatures below 27 degrees and above 0 degrees, they will make snow. So if you want to go sledding, if you want to go tubing down a hill, Murdoch Park is your place to go, because if you look outside right now, if you look out the window right over here, there's like that much snow on the ground. The snow that we've gotten has melted, and the flurries that we've gotten since the last big snow are just, minuscule. So go check out Murdoch Park, and I'm going to show you where that is on the map here. Move windows around. It's technically on Cason Street. Here it is. Here is 18th and South. Right there, right in the middle of Lafayette. So wherever you're coming from, if you're coming from the north side, if you're coming from the south side, the east side, if you're coming from Purdue University, it's smack dab in the middle of Lafayette. Murdoch Park. It's at 2100 Cason Street. Great place to go sledding because, as I said, they make snow there. Anybody in the chat gone sledding down the hill at Cason Park? When I say sledding, I think more often than not it's well, I was going to say more often than not it's tube, not sled. But in actuality, when I think about it, most of our time sledding on hills here in Indiana as a family has been on sleds. Now, a lot of those sleds tend to be, plastic modern sleds as opposed to older wooden sleds with runners. But going down a tube is equally fun. All right, so that's 2 winter activities. We've got Riverside Skating Center in West Lafayette, and we have Murdoch Park in Lafayette, where they make their own snow so that you can go sledding and tubing. Winter activity number 3 here in the Lafayette area is Prophetstown State Park. And you probably hear me talk about Prophetstown State Park quite a lot. I absolutely love this place. It is the newest state park in the Indiana state park systems. It is a restored prairie land, so when you go out there, it is what the area would have looked like as the first settlers arrived and found the Native Americans already living here. It's a really, really cool place. There's a water park. That's not really going to work here in the winter. Might be fun if they open it into some snow sliding. They don't do that. If you're listening, I'd love to give it a try, though. I think it's a good idea. They do some great interpretive programs out there. The farm at Prophetstown is out there. Now, I checked the calendar. They don't have any specific activities on the calendar right now that really kind of fit this category of winter activities that we're talking about here in the back half of January and into February. I am certain they will have some activities that will populate onto the calendar. But even without events out there at the calendar, again, put on your snow boots and your coat and head on out. The hiking trails out there are fantastic. They're nice and long if you want to walk on more developed sidewalk. There are large, wide sidewalks out there. If you want off-road, off-sidewalk, off-path trails, there are those as well. And you can see a wealth of wildlife out there and just have some quiet time to yourself or with your friends. Let's put it on the map. Prophetstown State Park, just outside of town, just north of Lafayette, fairly close to Battleground. We're zoomed in here. I'm going to zoom the map out. Here is I-65 and 43, which is River Road. This is exit 178 right here. So if you're in the Lafayette area already, all you got to do is basically, if you're in Lafayette, hop up North 9th Street and just drive up 9th Street. If you're on the west side of town, you can actually hop up River Road and then hop over on Burnett's Road over to Prophetstown State Park. Highly recommend it. There is no entry fee right now, actually. The guardhouse is closed during the winter, so you can actually go out there and hike and explore for free. Again, it's winter, it's cold. Dress appropriately. But like I said, they also put on some great interpretive programs out there, so check out their website if that's something that interests you. I am sure that we will see more popping onto the calendar. So that is 3 winter activities here in the Greater Lafayette area. Number 4 is not really in the Greater Lafayette area, but it is in Indiana, and I think it's a pretty cool thing, and that is the, it's bringing it up here. That is the toboggan run at Tippecanoe State Park. So they have this large slide that is a toboggan run, and I'm going to bring it up here. I think I want to try this way. Try zooming in on the picture here. See if I can get it up for you guys. So that's the toboggan run. That's at least the top of the toboggan run. A lot of fun. You can go out there, and it is open Saturdays and Sundays, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. $20 per toboggan per hour. So you can rent a toboggan for an hour, and each toboggan will hold up to 4. It is a 4-person toboggan, but it will hold 3 people. So if you're looking for a little bit of a winter getaway and you want to go check out another one of our great state parks, if you've been to Prophetstown State Park, drive up to Tippecanoe State Park. Here's another picture of the toboggan run. Shows you a little more of the toboggan itself. You know, they actually have a video of it. Let's see if I can put it up. Ready? Here we go. This is a lot of fun. If you've not been, you should definitely make the drive and go check it out. It's about an hour and 40 minutes to 2 hours from here. It is a little bit north, I think it's about 40 minutes north of Fort Wayne. So by no means is it next door. It is definitely a little bit of a road trip, but if you get up early in the morning, you can get up there and get some runs in before lunch, go and have a lunch and then head home, or get a B&B out there and stay. But tell me that this doesn't look like fun. I mean, this video is 50 seconds, almost a full minute to get down the toboggan run at Tippecanoe State Park. So go check that out. So 4 winter activities here in the Greater Lafayette, Indiana area. We have Riverside Skating Center in West Lafayette, if you want to go out there and do some ice skating. We've got Murdoch Park in Lafayette if you want to go do some sledding and tubing in the snow, even when maybe Mother Nature is not cooperating with snow outside. We've got Prophetstown State Park just a little north of town if you want to go check out nature and have a winter hike. And then Tippecanoe State Park up in the northeast corner of the state, a little north of Fort Wayne, if you want to go enjoy a minute-long toboggan ride on a 4-person toboggan. So 4 fun things to do here in winter. If you're here in the Greater Lafayette area, or if you're here anywhere at all and enjoying winter and enjoying tonight's show, hit the like and subscribe button. It means so much to me, and it means so much to YouTube that you subscribe and it tells YouTube how much people enjoy At Lafayette Live and all the content that we put out here every week and every day on the Lafayette Reel. And if you're enjoying winter and if quarters are getting a little too tight, or maybe your kids are getting ready to go to college, dealing with college applications and FAFSAs and all that here in the spring and starting to get acceptance letters, and maybe you need to downsize, maybe you're a first-time home buyer, go to the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube and fill out that form. And let's work together on your housing and real estate needs here in the Greater Lafayette area. Next up, we'll do, let's see, what do I want to do next? What do you guys want me to do next? Let's get rid of this first. I kind of have like a format. Got a market update that I want to look at. I also got 3 fun houses to look at. Tell you what, we're going to stay in the vein of looking towards summer and ignoring the fact that it is winter right now. So we're going to do our home tours. And tonight we're going to tour 3 homes that are currently for sale here in the Greater Lafayette area that have in-ground pools. so you can be ready for your summer fun. Now, is an in-ground pool in Indiana the most practical thing in the world? Perhaps not, but when it's freezing outside and you're thinking about summer, it sure does sound nice. So the first one that we're going to look at is, I'm just getting all my windows situated here, 3710 Canada Court in West Lafayette. And this is in, sorry, I buried my notes. Move my notes to the other screen. Bear with me. Thanks for your patience, guys. There we go. In Capilano Highlands. So this is over in the Capilano neighborhood over on the northwest side of West Lafayette. It is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath with about 5,200 square feet. And as I said, it has a pool. But as we always do on homes of this style, we need to put it on the map. So let's bring up the map, show you where 3710 Canada Court is, and also show you where Capilano is. So here we go. Here's the home and here's Capilano. This is 52 right here. Now if I just drag the map over, here is where 52 turns to the south. This is Meyer and Menards right here. So when I say the northwest corner of West Lafayette, it truly is. This is kind of the greater West Lafayette area, if you will. It's right here. So that puts it on the map. Let's take a tour, including checking out the pool at 3710 Canada Court in West Lafayette. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 5,207 square feet on almost half an acre, 0.49 acres. This was built in 1974. That's about the vintage of most of the homes there in Capilano. So you got your 3-car garage, got brick with some siding up top. Some of these homes in Capilano have not been updated. That is not the case here. Check out this modern kitchen. Whatever you might think about the color palette, and you know me, I have opinions. Whatever you might think about the color palette, it has been updated. It's got the marble countertops, the gas range with the floating vent hood up there. It is white and gray, but you've got the wood floors down there. So, you know, a home in Capilano that has been updated, like that brick wall in the dining area. I mean, that is the definition of feature wall, and you don't even have to paint it. It's part of the structure. You got the built-ins there, very kind of modern aesthetic. You have the enclosed porch with the glass barn door style doors there. Formal dining room. You can, of course, set that up as an office instead. You got the wet bar for all of your party needs. You can clearly see here, we got some Purdue fans, no shock in West Lafayette, of course. Attached living room to the dining room. I'm zipping through some of these because I want to get to the pool. Stainless steel appliances. Not a giant fan of stainless steel appliances, but that's me. That's not you. And you shouldn't choose a house based on what appliances are in it either. Some updated bathrooms. You got the mud room at the entryway from the garage, moving upstairs to the bedrooms. You got the hipped roofs. But look at that. You got a primary suite with an attached sitting area and fireplace. Lovely master bath with the dual basin sinks. You have a, I was going to say makeup station, but that's not right. Look at that massive, massive glass enclosed shower. And we start moving into the secondary bedrooms. Updated, new color palettes, new paint, new floors. Going back downstairs to the game room, lots of room to unwind. You can have, home theater down here. You got the wet bar. You got TV too high. Sorry, that's a failure. You There was something about the 1970s when Capilano was built about having your own dance studio at home, your own aerobics studio. I don't know if it's Jane Fonda's fault. I feel like that was more like the 1980s. I cannot tell you the number of these homes in Capilano that have these mirror walls. So when you look at this and go, what is that? A lot of homes in Capilano have that mirror wall. But finally, we're moving outside to the feature that brings this house into consideration tonight. Look at that beautiful in-ground pool. Imagine yourself out there enjoying the sun and the refreshing cool water in the evening. But on top of that, look at all the deck space that's out there. I mean, you of course have the concrete surround around the pool itself, but here's the enclosed sunroom, and you got deck space to either side where you can dine out and have a party. But then up here off of the primary, you have a private deck and stairs down so that you can get from the primary suite down to the pool, passing under the pergola there. Has a water slide, and the cover makes winterizing a little bit easier. Again, this is about half an acre, about 0.49 acres, and when you have a pool like this, it definitely takes up, a little bit of that acreage, so that's good in that, it's a little less grass to mow, is what I'm looking to say. I would add a hot tub, but that's just me. Lovely old growth trees. That's one of the beautiful parts about Capilano. They did not clear cut all of the trees and then also replanted where it made sense, so it doesn't feel like you're just in a strip mined neighborhood. Absolutely love it. Corner on shot there. So that is 3710 Canada Court in West Lafayette. I'm just zipping back to the pool shot. Here we go. We'll finish up with that shot. That is 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 5,207 square feet, almost half an acre in Capilano in West Lafayette, and it has an in-ground pool currently for sale for $599,000. And if you would like to go check that out, go to thelafayettereal.com/YouTube and fill out the form, and we can go for a private tour of your new in-ground pool. You can buy the house, and then you can invite me over for a pool party this summer. I'm joking. The pool party's optional. But let's go look and then put an offer in on this house. Next up on our tour of homes here in the Greater Lafayette area that have a in-ground pool for sale right now in January of 2026 is another home that has a West Lafayette address, and this one is up on 500 North. And while it has a West Lafayette address, reality is it's actually closer to Battleground, and I'll show you it on the map. But first off, let's check it out. We're going to look at 1030 East 500 North West Lafayette. But again, this oh no, I'm sorry, I got my homes confused. This one is not closer to Battleground. I mean, it is, but this is not the one that's close to Battleground. This one is in Meadowgate Estates, which is just off of 500 North, just a little to the north of town. So 1030 East 500 North in West Lafayette. Again, a home with an in-ground pool here in the Lafayette area for sale right now. 5 bedrooms and five baths. Let's put it on the map, and then we will look around, including at the pool. So I said it was in Meadowgate Estates, which is just off of 500 North. Get the map up here. Here's 500 North. Here is Soldiers Home Road. Soldiers Home Road becomes 75 East when you get up to just shy of 500 North. Here's Prophets Ridge. I think that's right. Here's River Road over here. This is exit 178. So it is just a little north of town. Here's Arbor Chase. Here's, you can see Barberry Heights down here. So This is, let's see, 600, 500. So it's about 3 miles or so north of the core of West Lafayette. If we continue zooming out, we'll see you can hop right down Soldiers Home Road or even down River Road to get into West Lafayette in a hurry. Off of you can hop down here and over to 9th Street if you need to get into Lafayette, or even take this has got to be a 3-minute jaunt over to I-65 if you want to get onto I-65 to go further down to the south side of Lafayette, or go all the way south to Indianapolis, or all the way north up to Northwest Indiana or Chicago. So really great home with great features, but really accessibility as far as roads are concerned is fantastic on this one. So this is 1030 East 500 North in West Lafayette. 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, 5,021 square feet on 6.39 acres. So you have more than 6 acres to call your own, and your own in-ground swimming pool that you can be out there enjoying in our Indiana summers, maybe not so much in our Indiana winters. Nice brick building, of course. You have both a attached 3-car garage right here, but then there is also a detached 3-car garage shop area over here, and then you'll kind of see the pergola over to the right hand side with the pool, and we're going to zoom in and look at that pool here in a moment. But lots and lots of space, beautiful woodwork on this one, and that's always kind of fun to see because it was built in 2008. This is not a century home. Like if you go see some of these century homes in the Greater Lafayette area, you're going to see some beautiful woodwork. You don't see that in modern homes all the time. 2008, it's only 17 years old. It's got some lovely woodwork in there. So it's not completely covered in wood, but it's got the columns and the pillars and the doorways and arches. The dining room has the nice built-in wood china cabinet. Lots of wood floor, and it's the same floor throughout here in the public areas of the main floor, so it really kind of gives that open flowing feeling. That's what using the same material in big multiple rooms like this is. It makes it feel like one big flowing space, as opposed to like you get this line of demarcation, and you can see from the entrance area there how that really ties everything together. Love the big island. Eat the eat-in kitchen, if you will. You can eat at the island. Lots of room there. You have the 3-sided fireplace there. Beautiful oak wood tone cabinets with the blue paint on the kind of blue almost shiplap style paint on the island cabinets. And check this out. I mean, I cannot tell you the number of times that people miss this. There's power built into the island. I can't tell you the number of islands that I have seen that don't have power built into them. It's like, how are you going to use your mixer? Huh? It's a simple thing, but it's the simple things in life that really matter, right? In the butler's pantry, look at that gigantic fridge, right? You're not going to run out of space there. Moving on through the attached living room with wet bar. So you don't have to go as far as the kitchen. You can just go right. I mean, the kitchen's right there. That's too far for you? Right there. I know. Being a little facetious, if you will. Got some carpet, tone it down, moving into the primary suite bath. And this is one of those where it is no doubt big, but somehow doesn't feel quite as overwhelming as some of these large bathrooms do. Maybe I'm equivocating a little bit. If you got clothes, if you got shoes, this is the closet for you. I love the glass paneled French doors on the office space. Moving into the bathroom that gives you access out to the pool. Like, why do you want a door that goes outside from the bathroom? This is your pool access. Smart, right? Shower before you hit the pool. Take care of all of your wet stuff. I love all of the windows. I need to replace some windows in our house, and I think that this is the style that I would probably go with. Lovely tile there. Moving along, we got another double bay sink in one of the secondary bathrooms. Heading downstairs into the basement, again, you got that wood floor that ties the room together and makes it seem like one large space that's like open and airy and continuous, as opposed to a lot of smaller spaces. Lots of room for home theater, game room, whatever you want to use the space for down there. You got a bedroom down there with the escape window, with the well window. This is a lovely, lovely home. This outdoor grill, while I am not a gas or propane fan, I understand why it probably makes sense for like a built-in like this. This is a nice, nice, nice outdoor kitchen. Includes a hood over the top. You got a sink there. I mean, this is top notch. You got the enclosed three-season porch with the heaters on the wall there, so you can enjoy a nice spring and fall day. But here we move out to the pool. And keeping in mind that it is not summer when these pictures were taken, so it's not the most lovely look at the pool right now. The cover is on, and that's actually water that's on top of it. But you got the lovely pavers out there under the pergola and the arch, the columns that repeat the architectural detail from the house itself. And what did I joke on the last one that I would add? A hot tub. Here it is. You got a hot tub, so the kids can go splash and be cold in the pool while I stay nice and warm in the overheated hot tub. We move over to the shop slash garage. Yeah, this is kind of why I say shop more than garage. I mean, check this place out. You got all the bays, and you have a space in here that can be an office. It's got a mini split. Imagine working on your classic cars, on your Lamborghini maybe, your supercars, your Ferrari in here. This is an absolutely beautiful shop. So that is 1030 East 500 North in West Lafayette. It is 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, 5,021 square feet. Absolutely beautiful wood floors, beautiful kitchen. You've got that shop that's just absolutely to die for, and you have an in-ground pool here in Indiana. It is currently, and it's got 6.39 acres. Check out those lot lines there. It is currently available in the Greater Lafayette area on our market right now. Let's go tour it for $1,300,000. So go shake the pennies and quarters and change out of your couch. Go find some money for this beautiful home with a pool, and go to the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube, fill out the form, and let's go check this home out. And if $1.3 million is a little salty for you and you'd want something, if you're a first-time homeowner and you ain't got that kind of money, that's fine too. It's fun on this show to go look at the extremes, to go, oh, wouldn't that be nice if? But if you just need a house to live in, that's my bread and butter, and I'd love to help you out. Go to the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube and fill out the form, and let's go work together on your housing needs here in the Greater Lafayette area. We're going to do one more home tour tonight of homes that have pools currently for sale here in the Greater Lafayette area, and maybe this one comes back down to earth just a little more. This is a little more of a normal house with a pool, as opposed to, let's be honest, mansion, nice luxury home. This one is the one that is a little closer to Battleground than it is to West Lafayette, yet has a West Lafayette address. This is 2479 Tippecanoe Drive in West Lafayette, and I'm going to put it on the map before we go check all of its features out, including its in-ground pool here in Lafayette, Indiana. Here it is on the map. It is in Shawnee Ridge, off of 600 North. This is River Road right here, and I'm going to zoom this map out, and you will see here is where River Road /43 intersects I-65. That is exit 178. So this still has a West Lafayette address based on the postal system, but here's Battleground. It's a lot closer to Battleground than it is to West Lafayette. However, it is still super fast to get to West Lafayette. You hop down here to 600 North. From the house to 43, it's 2 to 3 minutes. And then you can hop down River Road to get into Purdue University, to get to the north side of West Lafayette, the commercial core of West Lafayette, as I like to call it. You can hop down on I-65 and come on down to the core of Lafayette. You can come down North 9th Street. So it is a nice home with an in-ground pool, a little further out of town, but from an accessibility standpoint, it's really kind of hard to beat the locations. So let's take a tour of 2479 Tippecanoe Drive, West Lafayette. Again, a little closer to Battleground than West Lafayette. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,420 square feet on just a third of an acre. It's a regular size lot, but it has an in-ground pool, and we're going to get to that, believe me. But we start here at the front with the 3-car garage, and you have the lights in the garage doors, which I really like. I think adds great architectural detail. And then you move inside, and this is not a McMansion. This is not luxury, but it's not starter home either. And you can see some of the fit and finish details are just, they're not ostentatious. It's not crazy, just kind of, but a step up above. Gives you that warmth, if you will. It's got that kind of tightness of finish. You've got the archways that tie the living room and kitchen dining areas together. You got the eat-in kitchen that serviceable but not gigantic, just normal size. Feels really good. Gas stove, that's important for me. I'm gas over electric all day long. I don't do a lot of cooking. My wife's probably upstairs yelling at me right now. Moving into the dining room that, of course, you could set up as an office area. You got the tray ceiling in the primary. Nice primary bath with the soaking tub and the garden shower, but not like so crazy waste of space. You got a secondary bedroom that makes a nice sitting room or office. You, of course, have the laundry room moving through the secondary bathrooms. And again, fit and finish, it's great. It's not bottom of the barrel. It's not like super crazy expensive. This is a nicely finished house. And we're going to get to it in just a moment here. Of course, has that in-ground pool. Moving on through bedrooms. Nothing particular to talk about here other than to say that there are 4 bedrooms in this home in addition to the dining room. So you got plenty of space to stretch out. But then we move out back and we have the 3-season porch out here with the screens on the windows, and we get our first view of the pool through there. Keeping in mind that it is winter. You sell your house in the winter and you got nice outdoor features. This is just the way of it. Imagine it in summer. Blue, I was going to say blue water. The water is not blue, but blue pool. You got the pergola out there. Nice, warm place to enjoy. Summers here in Indiana, they get hot. You can take a dip in the pool. I would still add a hot tub. You got the fire pit there under the pergola. Great use of outdoor space. Again, this is a normal size lot. It's just a third of an acre. So, corner lot here, and here's the backyard. And I would say dominated by the pool, maybe not by the pool itself, but certainly the pool and the deck around it. But think about it as less grass to mow and more enjoyment to be had in the summer. I think the pool is a great use of space. Here we go. We did save some pictures from the summer. So there you go. I'm going to zip back to the pictures of the pool to finish chatting about this. Not that one. This one. 2479 Tippecanoe Drive, West Lafayette. Like I said, a little closer to Battleground than it is to West Lafayette, but still super accessible to everything that you need in town. 4 bedrooms and 3 baths, 2,420 square feet on a third of an acre. And this one is currently listed for sale at $479,000. So if you'd like to go check that out, or any of our homes here in the Greater Lafayette area that currently have in-ground pools, or any home in the Greater Lafayette area, or indeed anywhere here in the Greater Lafayette area or anywhere in Indiana, go to thelafayettereal.com/YouTube and fill out that form, and I will get back to you. Won't be some assistant, it will be me that gets back to you. I handle all of the contacts from all of our videos here. It's super important to me that I'm the one that talks to you. I don't farm that out to my admin or anything like that. I take care of that stuff. It's important. So go to thelafayettereal.com/YouTube, fill out the form, and also hit the like and subscribe button. Tell YouTube how much you enjoy all of our content here on the Lafayette Reel, and every Monday at 7 o'clock on At Lafayette Live. Okay. Last segment for tonight, and if you've hung with us so far, thank you for enjoying winter activities here in the Greater Lafayette area. We looked at 4 winter activities in the Greater Lafayette area, and then we turned towards summer and looked at 3 homes with pools, in-ground pools, currently for sale here in the Greater Lafayette area in the middle of January of 2026. Next up, though, we're going to look at a market report for the housing market here in the Greater Lafayette area as of right now. We're using live data for this, and it's data for our area. And I should take a moment and say, I don't often give clues about what I'm going to talk about next week, because I never know what's coming. Like, I want to talk about what's hot, what's coming, what's what announcements have been made, what's just broken ground. So I never quite know, a week ahead of time exactly what's going to make it into next week's show. As I was getting ready for this week's show, though, I realized that I keep meaning to have a segment on housing affordability here on the Greater Lafayette area. And the thing that has kept me from doing that is it is really important to me that the data that I use is reflective of our area and our market. And the data that I pull from, the Indiana Realtors Association puts together some great data, and they have a new affordability report that shows affordability, and I can map it down to our area. So I like to use Tippecanoe County for most of this data. So I can look at Tippecanoe County, not the state of Indiana, not the United States, but Tippecanoe County. And we can talk about real pricing that we're seeing here in the Greater Lafayette area, and what that means theoretically for, when we're thinking about like how much you should be spending on housing. What does that look like in comparison to the rest of the country? Are we above? Are we below? What do the trends look like for the Greater Lafayette area? So come back next week for a look at housing affordability here in the Greater Lafayette area. But this week is a housing market update for the Greater Lafayette area, and I'm going in depth here. So buckle up and get ready. Tune in and pay attention, because I got a lot of data that I'm going to talk about and tie it all together, into what we're seeing right now, and then what history kinds of tells us that what we should be seeing in the next month or 2 or 3. But to begin with our look at the housing market here in the Greater Lafayette area, we're going to look at Oh no, this has happened to me before. I got a technical problem here. Stand by. This is not what I want to see. I'm going to close some windows here. I'm going to quit an application, and I'm going to try this again. That is not what we should be seeing at all. Bear with me for just a second while I try to fix this. I think that might have fixed it. Okay, let's see. Let's go here, and let me get my data back up. Appreciate you guys sticking with me as I get this taken care of. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to bring up the chart. And I'm going to hit the button. Does it work? Yay! It worked. We're looking at listing price to start with. And to start with, we're looking at median listing price over the last 12 months. And through the end of December, which is when the data closes up, the data stretches for a calendar month. The average was down to was down to $292,000 on a weekly average, and we'll see that that's down a little bit. But if you look here, when you're looking at this monthly, when you're looking at this 12-month report, it's up and down and up and down and up and down. But the entire report from like the bottom point is 253.5, and the top point is 389.5. So we're talking about roughly $100,000 spread on those median listing prices. That's well within range. Having this one over here where a week before we were at 337 and we bounced down to 292 is not a big deal. I think I might have approached this incorrectly. Let's go back and look at the monthlies. Yeah, sorry guys. I know I'm going along here, but that's okay. You love this stuff, right? This is what I want. Let's look at inventory to start with. Everything I just said still applies though. Last month's inventory finished up at 302 homes for sale in the month of December. And we can see that the statistician's expecting a range of 306 to 338. That's what this lighter blue band is. So we didn't quite hit expectations. We're down about 21% month over month, but 47% up year over year. So more homes for sale in December of 2025 than there were in December of 2024. And if you stick with me and you get all the way to the end of this report, we're going to look at the longer term averages. What we're seeing here is seasonality. It's tied to the temperature. Do you want to go move when it's cold outside and there's snow on the ground? No, of course you don't. Sometimes you have no choice. More homes are for sale and are sold in the summer than there are in the winter. So this downward trend that, not even a trend, but this downward blip here in December is not a bug. It's a feature. That is not in response to any sort of national news. This is just the real estate market here in the Greater Lafayette area. And to further illustrate that point, we're going to look at new listings. This is the number of new homes that were for sale, that were listed for sale throughout the entire month. And in December, it was a pretty anemic 68. These are new homes that went for sale for the first time. Now check this out. I want to draw attention back here to May, where it was 293. That is as close as we have gotten to a balanced market in years. And we still didn't quite get there. Historically, it's been about 300 homes for sale in the Greater Lafayette area to be in a balanced market. That data, that number is probably a decade to a decade and a half old. I think with population and housing growth over the last decade to 2 decades, that number is more like 400, maybe even 450 homes for sale at any given time. So, why that matters is because it dictates whether we're in a seller's or a buyer's market. We have very much been in a seller's market for several years now. Getting closer to the 300 mark pushes us closer to the territory of maybe one day being in a neutral market and then eventually pushing into a buyer's market. But we barely got there. And in December, again, seasonality, we're down to 68. So again, feature, not bug. The housing market did not collapse in Tippecanoe County over the last month. That's exactly what it was supposed to, what exactly it was supposed to be. Closed sales. These are the sales that actually transacted. You got to the table and said, "Thank you very much. I bought your house." In December, it was 166. And we exceeded expectations on this one. The statisticians thought it would be 119 to 131. That's this lighter purple band, and you can see we overperformed expectations, up 46% month over month, up, more importantly, I think, year over year, 23%. So December of 25, 166. It was 135, way down here last year towards the, not the bottom end, but a tick below. Now, again, look at January and February of last year. Those numbers went down, but then they started coming up. That's exactly what's going to happen now. We're seeing this trend line, this seasonality of trend line, come down in the winter and then go up in the summer. And then as we look at the annualized data over 10 years, we're going to see that those humps that generally go up, and keeping the camera view, up and down, but generally growing and growing as we go. So that is closed sales. New pending contracts for the last month in the Greater Lafayette area in Tippecanoe County, we had 92. This is, hey, I saw your house. I walked through your house with my realtor. I reached out to Jeff. I went to the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube and filled out the form and went and saw the house. And now we're going to write an offer on your house. And Mr. Seller says, yep, I accept your offer. And now we're going to start our period of what might be called due diligence, of walking towards the closing table, of getting inspections and all of that done. 92 in December. We slightly underperformed the statisticians. They expected 99 to 110. We were at 92. We were down 35% month over month. Now, we were actually down year over year by 2%. And what I keep talking about in these market updates is what we really care about is not the month over month. We're talking about seasonality here. So December is going to be slower than July. It's just the nature of the real estate market, especially here in Indiana and here in Lafayette, but anywhere really. We're going to have that seasonality. What I'm interested in is how did we perform versus last year and the year before? And on this one, we underperformed by 2%. So for all intents and purposes, it was flat. When you're talking about last year was 94 and this year it was 92, two homes over 100, yeah, it's 2% down, but the sample is a pretty small sample size. So, basically flat. I would like to have seen a little more improvement there. I am hopeful that over the next year we're going to see improvement. We have a lot of new neighborhoods breaking ground with some big developments and some regional and national developers coming to the Lafayette area. So I think that we're going to see the number of pending contracts increase year over year. I don't think it's going to be ridiculous levels. We're not going to go from 90 to 900. I am not saying that at all. But I'm hoping that, we go, in December of next year, instead of 90, 92, we're at, 105, 110. Now, do national headlines and politics and news and worldwide economic policies and pressures affect our local market? 100%. Is there a lot of instability out there? Do we hear a lot of things tossed around out there? Absolutely. Are they going to affect our local market? Sure. But at the end of the day, when you have a strong local economy like we have, people are still going to want to move to the Greater Lafayette area to come work for SK Hynix, whether that's on the construction or to work in the chip fab. And people need homes. People are going to need homes as they come here for jobs. People need homes as they get married and have kids. It's just the nature of the beast that kind of no matter what's going on now. Could something nationally or internationally big enough happen to drag down the local market to an extreme? Oh, yeah, for sure. But we're not going to get too hung up on that right now. Median days on market is always a fun one to talk about that I like to talk about. And this is the number of days that it takes from the time that you, Mr. Home Seller, Mrs. Home Seller, put your house on the market till you have an accepted offer. Not till you get to the closing table, but you have an accepted offer. And again, you're going to work through that due diligence period of working through inspections and clearing contingencies and all of that. In December, it was 40 days from listing to pending. This number, more than almost any number that we're going to look at in this housing market update here in the Lafayette area, is one of the highest, is one of the most growth. Generally, by, in context of the rest of the numbers, like that growth is not in and of itself scary, but we're at 40 days. So five, 5.5, call it, coming up on 6 weeks. Zoom back here to the low point in April, and it was 5. So if we put your house on the market on a Monday, you had an accepted offer by Friday. 5 to 40. Now, we are at what I would say is historically a little more normal number. But a lot of the other numbers surrounding it are not moving nearly as much. Houses are sitting on the market a little bit longer. People are putting their houses on the market because they've gotten new jobs, they need to move, they've had more kids than they can fit into their current house. Whatever the case might be, they need to sell. And this house sits on the market a little bit longer, which does show us a little more inventory on the market at any given time. If it continues to grow, though, at the rate that it's growing, that shows that people need to sell, but that there are not enough buyers coming in to backfill those sellers' needs to sell with the buyer's willingness to buy, and in some cases pay the price that the sellers are looking for. Seeing some amount of being very careful on your listing price, although we're going to look at that data as well, so we won't put the cart before the horse on that one. But almost 30% up month over month, but 116% up year over year. Last year at this time it was 19 days, and now we're at 40. So basically it's 100% growth. That's something to pay attention to. Why are houses sitting on the market longer? Well, it's because buyers aren't buying them. Why are they not buying them? There are a lot of reasons for that, but that is the most concerning point of data that I have in all of these reports that I talk about. And I don't have all of the answers just yet. We're going to have to see some of the other numbers move to say, whether the market is going to move. But at the moment, pay attention. Months of inventory, this is how many months it would take if no other houses came on the market. When we run out of inventory? And this number ticked down. Despite it taking longer to sell houses, this number ticked down to 2 months. Now, the statisticians should probably give up on this one because their expected range was less than 1, and we're at 0.8 and 0.9. We're basically at 1 month is that's the expected range, and we're double that, and we have been for quite a while. 22% down month over month. 41% year over year, though. So we had we had a little more than 2.5 months worth of inventory in the last quarter of the year up until December, but then it ticked down to closer to 2. But again, less houses coming on the market. It's December. It's winter, so that's to be expected. 41% up year over year. That's good. We want more supply. We want more houses on the market. We want you to sell your house and buy your next house. We want people buying their first houses. Economically, that's what we want. And so having more inventory is good, just in that we have had an anemic amount of inventory over the last few years. So moving on. Price. Everybody loves to talk about this one. What are homes selling for? I'm not paying that. I got news for you. Yes, you are. I mean, if you want to buy a house. If you don't want to buy a house, then no, don't pay their asking price. To start with, this is the price. This is the median sale price in all of Tippecanoe County. And in December of 2025, over the last month, it was $287,000. Just a little above the statistician's expectation. Up 2% month over month, and 3% year over year. So you could use this as a placeholder, as a stand-in for what are homes currently worth in the Greater Lafayette area. It's not quite that simple, but if you were, then it's like, well, if you bought a house over the last month, the houses were worth on median average about $287,000. Now, what do I really want to look at in this chart, though? I want to look at the fact that my screen has frozen again. All right, so if not sure where that froze at. So here's the median sales price, $287,000. Think about how to go back and edit this so I could show you guys the other proper charts, but I'm not quite sure how to do that. Anyway, let's move onward. Median sales price. It's a fairly flat number over the last back through about March. We hit this median sale price of like 323, and it's just kind of hovered around here, slowly drifted down down to 282. So it's not moving drastically. We're up 3% year over year. People complain about houses are going up too fast in price. That's not worth it. I want to pay that. But the flip side of that, the thing pushing back against that is, well, don't you want your investment to increase in value? And this is that. So 3% up in price year over year. Then out of the monthly market report, we've got sale price as percent of list price. In December, 95.3% over the last month, right in the middle of expectations. So almost 5% off of the listing price. Oh, Jeff, people aren't getting what they're asking for their houses. They're overpricing them. 5% below is nothing. And it is easily explainable by asking for some concessions, sometimes closing concessions on repair costs. Sometimes it's a little bit of down payment assistance, closing costs, all sorts of things like that. 3% is a fairly good boilerplate number to like start the conversation. And even going to 6%, just, kind of think in multiples of 3. So that 95% means that, hey, maybe your buyer thought, I want to make an offer, but I at least want to feel like I'm negotiating. So let's ask for a percent or two off. So on a $300,000 home, we're talking about 3 or 6,000, let's say $6,000 at 2%, and then the seller accepts. So now you're 2% under that asking price, and then you work through the inspection process and you discover a couple $1,000s worth of repairs that you successfully negotiate the seller to do on your behalf. And there's another couple thousand, and then so now you're at that 5% pretty quickly. So 95%, holding flat month over month. Down 2% year over year. Last year, it was 97.6%. It has moved in a narrow band. At the low end, it was 94.8%, and at the high end, it was 99.2%. So in a 4% range. If you price your house well, you're getting what you ask for it. Now, the houses that are not selling, what's happening is they're coming off the market, and we're seeing a few more of those these days. They're not getting price reductions, drastic price reductions. They are getting pulled off the market and then maybe reassessed and maybe go back on the market and maybe don't. If you've stuck with us this long, keep sticking with me. I'm going to go through some more data. If you can't hang, cool. I appreciate you being here. Finish up by going to thelafayettereal.com/YouTube and filling out that form. And let's work together on your housing needs here in the Greater Lafayette area, and hit the like and subscribe button. But next up, I got two more pieces to look at here. Let's see. This is more of a fun one. I'm not sure that it tells much of a story. Listing price. $292,000. That's just the median price of whole homes that came to sale over the last in the latest week of the data. But you can see, at the peak over the last year, it was basically 390, and down here at the low, it was 253. I'm not sure that data really tells a story. outside of the fact that that's just, what homes came for sale at any given time. We kind of looked at that, pending contracts, immediate sales. We have not looked at immediate sales yet. Let's check this one out. So immediate sales, this is percent of new pending sales that went under contract in 3 days or less. And over the last week of the data, 16%. The 3-week average, 9.5%. And we can see back here in April, May, this was May 12th, a little north of 50%. In the warmer months, we kind of lived in the 30 to 50% range. But as we got deeper into the year, it came down to the 20 to 30% range. And as we get down into the winter, it's dropping down into the 0 to 20% range. So this is just the number of homes that takes 3 days or less to sell. That number is coming down, and I think overall that's a fairly healthy thing from a buyer's perspective. Gives you a little more time to consider, if you want to make an offer on a house. You don't have to tour a house and then go check it out. Price drops. What did I talk about? There are more houses that are getting price drops now than there have been. In the last week of the data, which this data covers through the end of December, it was 51.1%, the 3-week average 52%. And if we look at the chart, it's hovering right around this 50 to 55% mark since about September 22nd or so. Back at the beginning of the year, it was in the 40s, 45s. Again, winter. Houses sit on the market a little bit longer. Not as many buyers out there in the winter as there are in the summer. And then, it drops. It continues to drop, but what was interesting is it started building again in May and June. And as more inventory came on the market, we started seeing more and more and more price drops, 30%, 40%. We crossed 50% for the first time in September, and then it has lived up there. So 50% of homes listed have had a price drop. What does that tell you? It tells me that it is super important that you work with your realtor, that you work with me to get the pricing right on your house the first time. Otherwise, it's going to sit longer. You're going to take price drops, and the buyers are going to start wondering, what's wrong with it? And there may be nothing wrong with it. It might just be that you saw your neighbor make $10, $20, $30, $50, $100,000 off of their home, and you thought you would do the same thing. The reality is we don't set the price. The sellers don't set the price. The realtors don't set the price. The market sets the price. Supply and demand sets the price. And a good realtor is going to take time to evaluate what's out there on the market right now. How is it selling? What is it priced at? What do those comparables look like? What has the market looked like over the last few months? Where is the market going? Let's look at your neighborhood. Let's look at your town. Let's look at your county. Let's figure out where we sit on those trend lines, and let's get your house sold for the most amount of money in the quickest amount of time. And that means pricing it right. And half of people right now have priced it wrong. The market said, I'm not paying what you're asking. We're gonna pay less. And those sellers have had to go and make a price cut. And I think that is a really telling number. Kind of talked about days on market. We talked about percent of list price. All right. So those are kind of the short-term numbers. I'm going to wrap up. I know I'm going long tonight, and thanks for hanging out, and thanks for hitting the like and subscribe button. It means so much that you join us here every Monday on At Lafayette Live and on the Lafayette Reel. Hit that like and subscribe button. It matters. It helps a whole lot. Long-term trends. I've been talking a lot about what December had looked like to talk about where we're at in January, but I need to talk about these longer-term trends in order to put us in a position that we can think about where we're going in February and March and April and indeed through the rest of 2026. So we're going to look at let's see, we're going to look at 5 years of data now just to show those trend lines and show you what that looks like. This is inventory over the last 5 years, and we can currently see over the last month we were at 302. We're downward, but this is what I'm talking about. In December it goes down, and then it starts building through the summer, and then we hit December of 21 and it goes down and it builds through the summer. December, January, February, always the low point. But we have this down and then back up and then down and then back up, and now we're down. Now we're back up, and we've grown more over the last year than we have over the last 5. But if we had looked, if this report encompassed 10, 15, 20 years, we would see that these trend lines, this is what the trend line is, and it just slowly grows. Now, the up went pretty up. We had almost 400 homes for sale at the peak, 395. So the down, we're at 302. It's going to go down even more here in January as we're working through that inventory right now. There's going to be less inventory in January and February, and that drop is going to look a lot more precipitous. But that's because the high was higher than it has been, and we expect those deltas to exist. New listings over a 5-year period. In December, we had 68. At the high point of the year, we were at 300. But check it out. We haven't been anywhere close to 300 since May of 2022. It took us 3 years to get back to this 300 homes on the market. Homes were moving so quickly. The market was kind of so overwrought and so overfired that houses were coming on the market. And then there just were not enough homes on the market, that what was coming on the market was moving quickly, that we would only have a couple hundred at most, and then we got down to anemic levels in the winter months. And indeed, we're actually there. We're actually lower than we have been the last in December of 22 and 23. What does that mean for the longer term? That means that we're going to have less new listings in potentially in February and March, but in March, April, and May, the number of listings are going to go up. There are going to be more houses for sale. That's just the nature of the seasonality of our market. Total closed sales, again, I just can't overemphasize the fact that we're talking about like long-term trends, and over the last month it was 166. But basically been flat. We're kind of living in this area of 100 and low hundreds to the 200s, but we're slowly going up over what we have over the last few years. What does the rest of 26 hold in store for us? Well, we're going to find out. But it will definitely continue to tick up. It always does. December, January is the low point, and then February, March, April. February is the low point in 22, grew back up. So we're kind of at the low point. So look at where we are at this low point. So is the high point going to be up here, up at the 250, even north range that we haven't? I mean, we just barely kissed 250, 249 back in 2022, and then back in 2020 was when it crossed 250s. Will there be more closed sales? Will there be more people in the market buying? Will the number of homes coming for sale go up to absorb those buyers? I hope so. I hope that more people, now that the rate lock-in is starting to ease, or has eased, the percentage of the population that has, mortgage rates, at that, level closer to the current 6% as opposed to the historical, 1s and 2% is higher, and they still need to move. That lock-in is easing. We're also going to see a good deal of new homes coming on the market here in the Greater Lafayette area over the next year, as there are several local, regional, and indeed national developers that are bringing some big neighborhoods to the market, including a new 1,100 door neighborhood that is breaking ground nowish. So days on market, I'd like to talk about this one. If you watch the show at all, you always hear me rant and rave about how fast and how hot the market is. It's 2 and 3 days in West Lafayette, and in all of Lafayette and Tippecanoe County, it's 3 and 4 and 5 days. Check this one out, though. Boy, Historically, over the last 5 years, indeed, it's lived down here at these fives with these, peaks going up here and there and then drifting back down. But look at this climb to the stratosphere of 40 days. Houses are sitting on the market longer. Boy, oh boy, houses are sitting on the market longer. It's taking longer to get a house sold. Not a lot of the other numbers are moving. The same amount of houses coming on the market in a seasonal adjusted view, but it's taking longer to get them sold. Slightly more houses on the market because as they take longer to sell, those houses are sitting, so our inventory is growing. This number is not concerning, but it is something that we do need to pay attention to when other numbers start moving in concert with it. All right, two more long-term data points. Months of inventory. We've been around half a month to a month for the last, from 2020 to about 2023, and then it started growing to about 1.5, and then again peaked up to about 2.5 here at the end of the year. There are more homes for sale at any given time over the last few months, and there have been over the last 5 years. This is good from a buyer's perspective. You have more inventory to choose from, and you have a little longer to choose. So if you go see some houses on Friday and Saturday, you can spend Sunday and Monday talking about it amongst yourselves, talking with your loan officer, talking about what works for you, as opposed to going to see a house on a Friday afternoon and having to put an offer in by Friday evening. I think that is a healthy and good thing. And then the last long-term trend that we will look at tonight is median sales price. And this is just a fun number. Over the last month, $287,000, up 3% year over year, but up 37% over the last 5 years. Back in December of 2020, our median sale price was $189, just a hair's breadth under $200. Now, our median sales price is $287. That's a lot. That's an increase just from those two data points of $100,000 on average. It was kind of at that 2 to 220 level over the best part of 2020, and then was 220, 240-ish, and then it's just continued to grow. Year over year, though, 3% median sales price growth in Tippecanoe County. Oh my goodness, Jeff, houses are too expensive. Yes, but your house is worth more too. And with that, I'll say thanks so much for joining us tonight. If you're interested in a value for your own home, for your own real estate where you live, or you're interested in buying a home, a first house, a second house, you need to move up or move down, do this right now. Go to thelafayettereal.com/YouTube and fill out the form, and let's work together on your housing needs here in the Greater Lafayette area, or indeed anywhere in Indiana. And also, hit the like and subscribe button. Tell YouTube how much you enjoy all of our content here on the Lafayette Reel, and every Monday at 7 o'clock on At Lafayette Live. Don't forget to join us again next week, where I'm going to do a segment on housing affordability here in the Greater Lafayette area. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great week.